All right, COVID confusion, folks. There's now friction between the federal government and Boston University researchers after a brand new study, a COVID-19 study, was published stating BU created a new deadly COVID strain with an 80% kill rate. Today, BU pushed back on those publications, saying those reports are misleading and untrue. So which is it? What we know is researchers were working at BU with this hybrid virus where they took the spike protein of Omicron and attached it to the original strain. In mice, they found this new fused version killed 80% of mice infected. The doctors are on call. Our panel of doctors is back with us. We're very lucky to have Dr. Pierre Kory, Dr. Kelly Victory, and Dr. Peter McCullough. Docs, thank you so much. Dr. Kory, let me start with you here. The reports were yesterday, and I think it was Daily Mail who's reported, if I'm not mistaken, who said there was a new version, an accelerated gain of function version at BU that killed, we had an 80% kill rate. BU says, hold on. You picked the wrong lines in that study. What do you hear? What do you know?
Yeah, I find that statement to be absolutely misleading. It is almost sort of gain of function. It doesn't meet the original definition, but they took Omicron, which they admitted was mild, they combined it, and now they have something that's 80% deadly. So they made an Omicron strain even deadlier, and then they defend themselves by saying it's not as deadly as the original strain. Why are we making viruses more dangerous? Why are we playing with more viruses in the lab? I mean, in this environment during this global pandemic, that they're continuing to do these things. They defend themselves they think that it's going to help find therapeutics. We already know of many therapeutics. You could just study repurposed drugs. This is really dangerous, and it's incredible that it's still ongoing.
Yeah, and Dr. McCullough, I think I read that BU, the researchers said that, no, they were trying to find ways to, I guess, reduce the transmissibility and the deadliness, mortality of the original COVID strain and they added the milder Omicron. What are your thoughts on it?
I read the manuscript carefully, first author Chen, senior author Said, and I can tell you it was clear they were trying to make the virus more deadly. They were, in a sense, trying to take the best of Omicron in terms of its rapidity of replication and its infectivity, and then the lethality of the original Wuhan strain, and have them combined. It was tested in human immortal cell lines and found to be tremendously infective. They then used humanized mice and showed it could damage the respiratory epithelium, cause weight loss, make them very sick, and then kill them. There was no mention of therapeutics in the paper. There was no testing of any type of countermeasure like a monoclonal antibody or vaccine. In my view, this was an intentional U.S. government-funded program to make SARS-CoV-2 more deadly.
Dr. Victory, you have to ask, where's the logic in this? Where is the logic? I mean, we know there have been, CDC and others have proven there have been thousands of lab leaks for various other things other than COVID, but we believe the COVID came from the Wuhan lab in China as a lab leak. Why would BU be playing around with something that potentially could be so deadly?
Well, Eric, I think we have ample reason to be gravely concerned. There isn't much that I agree with from a policy perspective that came out of the Obama administration, but I absolutely did support the moratorium that was placed in 2014 on gain-of-function research. And I believe that every thoughtful physician and scientist did as well, because it's very dangerous stuff. You are talking about fundamentally weaponizing a pathogen, taking it, making it more deadly, more transmissible, more infective, more lethal, whatever. And when you cannot control into whose hands that pathogen may fall, we are living this. We have lived globally 3 years of a holy hell as a result of gain-of-function research out of that Wuhan lab. So I think it's intellectually dishonest at best for BU to try to say that this was somehow not gain-of-function research, because it clearly was. They were trying to enhance the transmissibility, the infectivity, and the lethality of a particular pathogen. And lab leaks, as you rightly point out, are not an anomaly. They happen. Labs are only secure as the least competent individual who works there. Accidents happen. I can't say whether COVID-19 escaped from the lab in Wuhan out of malfeasance or abject incompetence, but it got out. and it can happen. And that's why this type of research is extremely, extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know why we're allowing this. You're 100% right, Dr. Victory. Very quickly, guys, let's do these sound bites back to back. Let's first do these. Dr. Fauci this past Sunday saying that he had nothing to do with closing schools, and then we'll butt it right up against, well, that's not so true. Take a listen.
Was it a mistake in so many states and so many localities to see schools closed as long as they were?
I think in some case, I don't want to use the word mistake, John, because if I do, it gets taken out of the context. They always come back and say Fauci was responsible for closing schools. I had nothing to do.
I mean,
let's get down to the fact. There are some areas where the level may be low, but not absent and maybe a little troublesome. You might want to modify the schedule. A hybrid, part online, part in person, morning, afternoon, alternating days, whatever it is that the local authorities. And that there may be some areas that the level of virus is so high that it would not be prudent to bring the children back to school.
Let's go round robin very quickly. Let's take 30 seconds each. We'll start with you, Dr. Kelly Victory.
Well, I could tell you of all of the errors that were made during this pandemic, Eric, closing schools was one of the most egregious. We knew from the beginning that children were very poor vectors of COVID. They are at such a de minimis risk of severe illness from COVID as to be indistinguishable from zero. We knew that they were not passing it to anyone at home, and we have done untold damage. And Anthony Fauci was at the helm of this. He absolutely was directing it, and he doesn't get to wash his hands of it at this point.
You got a half a minute for you, Dr. McCullough.
America was clearly taking his cues from Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's responsible. The new documentary premieres today, actually, The Real Anthony Fauci. Everybody should check it out.
All right, really good. And bring it home, Dr. Kory.
Yeah, just another example of Dr. Fauci trying to, evade blame. He clearly was, contributed to lockdowns and mandates and school closures. And we knew going into the pandemic, epidemiologists knew that is not how you approach a viral pandemic. And again, these policy failures, now he's trying to distance himself from them. And he cannot erase his role in this. Yeah. He can try, but he can't do it.
Yeah, you know what? These are the best doctors on the planet. We're lucky to have you on. We'll get you back again as these stories develop. And by the way, Fauci, flip-flop Fauci, as we call him, he's denied participating in gain of function, even though they financed it. He denied it was a lab leak, even though we now know it was. And he's consistently flip-flopped on efficacy of masks and various other things, including lockdowns in schools, which he now denies he ever had a part of, yet he recommended. Dr. Pierre Kory, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Kelly Victory, thank you for joining us. Folks, those doctors are on call for us. Appreciate their time.